27. Trey White from the Buffalo Bills. I'm always locked in with my guy Muki. So whenever you're in Buffalo, tune in to 96.5 with my boy Muki. We always live.
Yeah, this Wi-Fi kind of weird. Shaky.
Figure it out. What's good, sports world? Welcome to Late Night Sports. I'm your host, Muki Hawkins, on the ones and twos. Oh my God. I had to look. I was about to say, the original Rude Boy, but it is nobody else but your favorite nephew, DJ Reddy Roberts, in the building. Look, it's the beginning of the month. I be thinking like, beginning of the month, he don't be here. He like to play hooky in the beginning of the month. You know what I mean? I don't know. He prepping for Cinco de Mayo or what. I'm not sure.
He definitely is.
It's good to see him here. It's good to see him here in the building today. It's also good to see Andre the Torch Robinson is here. All right, they paid the ransom money for him finally, and we get to discuss some things about the draft. We got my guy Justice, the General Fan Base Network Super Producers in the building. What's good, gentlemen?
What's good, man? It's good to be back.
It's a beautiful day.
It is a beautiful day. It's a beautiful draft. I'm excited about the picks. I was infatuated. I had Love Jones with a tight end. You know what I mean? But they didn't get him. But guess what? They still got a tight end. They addressed the position, right? So I can't be mad at the pick. I mean, if you're gonna go and get, to me, okay, they got the Darnell Washington's bar none the best blocking tight end in this draft, right? But hey, you go get the best playmaker this year, and that's what the Bills got in Dalton Kincaid. Probably was the number one tight end on the board. You know what I mean? So for them to go out there and get the number one guy, receiving another threat for Josh, I'm ecstatic about that. I'm ecstatic about that. Torch, what was your thoughts about the pick?
I just want to know, can I be brutally honest or should I be positive?
They don't call you the Torch for nothing?
Oh, so I could be the fire starter right now. I'm you know what? Well, I'm glad to be back. Listen, first and foremost, the tight end pick, I like that they got the best tight end, receiving offensive weapon-wise, but I do have a problem with the pick. I do have a problem with a little bit of the draft, too. The pick, first and foremost, I thought that they were going to get somebody who's original, somebody fresh, somebody who could do, two things, not just one, block. Is he a blocking tight end? He's a receiving tight end. So my question is, why did we pay all this money for Dawson Knox then, if that was the case? Number one, that's money that you could have kind of saved to get somebody else or make another move, If you was going to go ahead and get the Travis Kelce of the draft, at tight end, you probably shouldn't have paid Dawson Knox 11, 12 million. So that was just my thought on that. I mean, there's some good. Obviously, he's got the bag when it comes to receiving. The best, actually, some people say that he was a better offensive weapon than most of the wide receivers that was in the draft. So that's interesting enough to say that they're getting another weapon on the offensive end now. If they're trying to exploit, now if they're trying to get the run going, though, we're going to see how they make that happen. All right. I know we're only talking about the first pick, but
we'll get into that in just a minute. But what was your thoughts, Jerome?
I mean, are we going full draft or just Kincaid?
Yeah, we're just going to go Kincaid right now. I know we got Jerick online. Jerick, are you with us? Okay, yeah, Jerick is with us. We'll get to that intro.
All right, Jerick is here.
And we got the Black Mill Piper on deck. So, we got my man in the cut like this one. But, Justice, what was your thoughts on the Kincaid pick?
So, when I saw the pick, I absolutely started, right? When I saw it, I wasn't super happy. Then I went and I did my homework. I went and did my due diligence for the kid. And I am more than on board. Like, if I would have did my real studying on this dude, because I didn't think he was even going to be an option. If I did my real studying, I'd have screamed when we made this pick. Okay. So the reason I say that is because this guy is a dynamic offensive weapon. And it really doesn't matter that he can't block because, I mean, and he can block. He's not like he's just this inept dude who just stands there and run block plays, right? He can block. He's just not exceptionally great at it, right? Which, I mean, how many wide receivers are exceptionally great blockers? Because he is essentially a wide receiver, really. I mean, I promise you, we're going to see a lot of formations and sets this year where you get Stephon Diggs in the slot because you got Kincaid, you got Davis, and now you got Shorter who can all play on the outside. You're going to take advantage of the middle of the field a lot more because not only is Kincaid a potential outside receiver, but he's also best in the slot. So now you got a thick slot. You got Stephon Diggs could take over that role. You got Sherfield could, Hardy, Shakir is still here. You know what I mean? It opens up the offense to the nth degree. I feel like I've been having feelings more that Dawson Knox might take a more block heavy role. We'll see what happens there. But
Dawson is going to stay the Y. He's going to stay the Y. So he's going to, if it's a situation of who's going to be in line first, it's going to be Dawson Knox.
Okay, awesome.
You know what I mean? Because he's more experienced in the league, and gotta keep him there.
Well, the reason I love the Dalton Kincaid pick is just simply because he's a freak. Like athletically, he doesn't look like he's gonna run a 4. He's not gonna run a 4.3. He's not gonna jump 70 feet in the air. None of that. But he is 6'3". He's a big boy, and he's gonna snag the football out of the air. He's gonna attack the football at the point of contention, and then he has a 70 catches last year, 2 drops, 58% contested catch rate. Josh loves to give his guys opportunities, and I mean, previously, outside of Stephon Diggs and Gabriel Davis, and then even Dawson Knox to a degree, making spectacular catches, we typically don't capitalize on those 50-50 balls. It's more like 70-30 with Dalton Kincaid. He is just, it's hard. It's so hard to defend him, and I think that's why they give him the Travis Kelce comp, because he is a superb route runner, especially if you want to call him a tight end. It's not even a question. He had the best hands out of anybody in this draft. Quarterback, wide receiver, running back, tight, it doesn't matter. He had the best hands. He's going to catch everything. He didn't have a fumble last year. I don't know if he had one throughout his college career. He didn't have a single fumble last year. So you talk about what this guy brings to your team. He brings an energy, right? A big playability, and then he's going to bring the energy after the play. You're going to get the Ralph rocket. He's going to hold on to the football. He's going to catch the football. And you know what happens when you see a young guy come in outshining everybody? That motivates people to get going, because you can't just be out here dropping balls and it's this guy who just got here this offseason and making everybody look bad because he catching everything. Wow. You know what I mean? I think that he is going to bring a new mentality to this team. I think he's going to push a lot of guys to their peak in terms of desire and ambition to get better, because I don't think, at least not for me, I speak to myself, I don't like when I see people come in being better than me. It makes me want to go harder and want to be better, right? And hopefully he brings that type of mindset to this Bills locker room, and he is going to help other people get better as well as developing into, he should be the number 2 option by his second year.
Pretty bold statement there. Pretty bold statement, but I mean, at the end of the day, Green did say that they want to get back to, having one of the most competitive rosters. I mean, they kind of got away from that the past couple of years. It seemed like they was on their way. Super Bowl, the hype, and all that stuff. You kind of get away with, being competitive. And the Bills went back to that model. I think. When you look at this draft class and where they picked at and the players that they chosen, definitely stirred the pot up again. And also questions here. We got Jerk online. We're gonna get him quick too. So Jerk, we got Jerk on. Jerk. I don't know. Maybe we're taking a quick break, but Well,
I got a question. I'm sorry. I'm listening to all this good stuff. And, once again, it's good to be back. Once again, I have to ask this, though. You just mentioned about competitive roster, right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought about this earlier. I'm like, why don't the Bills just make the picks that put them head and shoulders above the Bengals and the Chiefs? Why can't they do that? We thought last year they were head and shoulders over the Bengals until we found out they played 2 games against the Bengals and the Bengals looked better than them. The year before, we thought that they were head and shoulders. We're going to be head and shoulders over the Chiefs. We thought that was going to happen. 13 seconds happened. My question is, why are we just not going to get the sure shot picks that is going to put this team at the top?
I got a question for you. When you look at the Bills' first 2 picks, what makes you think they didn't do that?
Okay, so here's why. Because we don't know about Kincaid in the NFL. I get it in college. He's done great. No. I get it. We don't. But again, we're talking short shot players versus collegiate draft picks. Like, to me personally,
signing a veteran.
To me, I still think go get D-Hop. Why not? D-Hop, let me explain why. D-Hop, not only because I've been talking about the running game for the last couple minutes since I've been on the show. Does Dalton Kincaid help the run game? Is what I gotta ask, because that's something that we couldn't get consistently the last couple seasons, right?
You gotta look at it.
Yes, here's why. Because D-Hop opens up the field a whole lot more. But we've seen D-Hop do this. This is the thing. We know
D-Hop is a proven commodity.
Right.
We know that
proven commodity.
But at the end of the day, the Arizona Cardinals won a 2nd-round pick for him, and the Bills is not going to give up a 2nd-round pick for D-Hop, who has $19 million on the cap that the Bills don't have right now. Jarek, are you with us?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I will get to you in a minute, George, but we got our guy Jarek on the line. Got the Black Milk Camper on deck. Jarek, just give us a quick rundown on your thoughts on the Kincaid pick.
Initially, I was confused like a lot of people were, because I'm like, wait a minute, don't you have a $50 million tight end, a person that you're paying $13.5 million to a little bit? But we can kind of realize what Kincaid can do. I mean, as a player, the dude is the best receiving tight end in this draft class. And again, they try to go, they're trying to go after the Travis Kelce's, the Greg Olsons of the world, right? Those type of tight ends, which are really starting to change the game. He's a tight end that, for the most part, you are absolutely going to love. His catch radius, his hands, his ability to separate from other defenders. He's going to be a big mismatch, more particularly in the slot, especially when it comes against safeties, nickelbacks, and linebackers. But what I love him the most, and why I think that this is going to be a really, really good pick for us, is because his ability to create space. That is what hurt us a lot. Was Stephon Diggs really the only person that can separate? This is a guy that not only can separate, but he can really create space, especially when it comes to recognizing certain zone coverages, whether it's reading certain assignments, sitting, or again just finding a way to always get open. That ability to create space is what makes the tight end position such a valuable commodity in this league. So I understood exactly why they did it. I think the biggest question now is how are they going to utilize them, right? Are they going to really utilize them to its full potential? Because that's one of the things that we kind of complained about, Philip, was that Ken Dorsey, where was the creativity, right? Where was the usage of the 12 personnel and some of those creative sets that they had using certain spread concepts during the preseason? Where was all that at? So now that we got a Dalton Kincaid, a guy that we are gonna assume is gonna be that main guy in the slot, especially when you have Sherfield and Hardy, guys that can get up the field when it comes to speed. We are expecting way more creativity, and hopefully Dalton Kincaid can open up the offense by doing that.
Well, we're finally going to see the exotic 12 that I was talking about all preseason long, and the Kincaid pick answered my O.J. Howard question. Again, the Bills want a playmaker. Obviously, they want a receiving tight end. O.J. Howard wasn't a receiving tight end. He came in as one, but he just got off an Achilles injury. So right now, he's more or less of a possession guy, a blocker at will. So I'm like, okay, well, the Bills should have automatically knew that coming in, right? I guess I was wrong, because he obviously wasn't a scheme fit. He wasn't the tight end that they were kind of looking for. For them to go and get Kincaid, just let me know they're looking for playmakers. And at the end of the day, he's a lot of he shows a lot of versatility, and he's a physical tight end too. So I like the pick. Another weapon for Josh, and another guy that can work the middle of the field. Another guy that obviously he's going to learn how to block in the league. But
he represents all of the he represents the strength, and his strengths are all of the Bills' weaknesses, right? Lapses in judgment, maybe, or just ball security. No drops, no fumbles. He's going to take care of the football, right? You talk about not being Jared, just talk about not being able to separate with amongst the wide receivers. He's going to be able to separate. Linebackers can't keep up with him. DBs ain't going to be able to muscle it up with him. And even if you are a DB, you're going to have to be like Buda Baker, you know what I mean, that type in order to even play him close, because he's just going to head top you. His contested catch rate is disgusting. 58% was last year. I believe the year previous to that, he had 100% contested catch rate. Granted, it was a lesser amount of balls, but still, he's very good at that, high pointing the football. His back injury, I guess, is a thing. But, and I feel like the run game, as far as the run blocking, because pass blocking, he's fine. Like, he's not horrible. But the run blocking isn't even bad enough to the point where it's a liability. It's just like, I need to find some weakness in this guy's game. And that's what I'm going to.
He's going to get that. That's why Dawson Knox is still the one. He's still going to get tight end.
And he's not a bad run blocker. He's just not a great one.
He just got to learn how to do it in the league. But we got our top draft pick, Dr. Kincaid online. And this is me chopping it up with him on draft. Draft pick, Dr. Kincaid online. Him on draft.
And no more words.
For the first time, and what do you think about the waivers?
It's incredible. I think it goes with kind of the facilities throughout. I'm pretty shocked. I mean, you go on team 30 visits, so you see a lot of teams and their facilities and everything, and Buffalo's definitely up there. So very impressed so far with everything I've seen. That guy, that's what we've been calling the last 12 hours. He had one job, but he traded right off a little bit. He was rotating the hats pretty consistently, and no one really knew who was on the phone when he was on the phone. So he got me a hat finally, but it made for a pretty cool memory.
Some challenges coming from the same thing. What are some of the challenges that you're excited to face at this point?
I mean, you're playing the best of the best each and every week. You're playing a team that hasn't won a game. They're still professionals, and they're being paid millions of dollars to do this. So just the level of competition is going to be exciting and fun to compete every week with those people.
Specifically going through and maybe talk about how you think your skill set applies.
Yeah, I think it's just the versatility. Again, line, flex, and the wing and the slot. So I feel like it just is difficult to game plan and just for teams, at least in college, struggling to figure out what personnel to match up, who to put on who. So I feel like it just provides some attention for teams that they really got to focus on and can take away from some of the players.
There you have it, Dalton Kincaid. 25, not 27. Bills trade up a few spots, jump ahead of Dallas. Two snatch the best pass catching tight end in this year's draft. You heard what he said, guys. We on the end line, flex, wing, slot. He's going to be playing in multiple positions. They're going to be moving him around like Chesky. So you're going to see this exotic personnel that I've been screaming all preseason. Didn't see it in the regular season because Dalton, O.J. Howard basically wasn't the fit that they were looking for. So we got to see it this year. This is the scheme. This is Dorsey's scheme, a 12 personnel, an exotic 11, 12 personnel, because you're going to go 11 personnel, with a tight end at times, or 11 personnel with 2 tight ends and a fullback. Like, it's going to be real exotic on where these guys are going to line up. You're going to see Steph Diggs playing third man in at times, with probably Kincaid flexed out by itself.
So many
trips
options
left. So
and one last thing. You talk about all the time how you don't want no more Smurfs. Well, this guy's far from a Smurf at 6'3", right? So he's far from a Smurf there. And when you take a look at who the options that were there for the Bills potentially once you get to 20, right? Jackson Smith and Jigba, shorter guy, mostly slot, right? Zay Flowers, shorter guy, probably mostly slot. He can play outside, but for the most part, he's slot. And then Quentin Johnston, bigger guy, a lot of questions. We'll see how his route tree looks, but there were a ton of questions about him. And then Jordan Addison, another guy who's shorter, on the shorter side, like 6 feet, 6'1". And he could play on the outside, but you probably like him at slot, especially his first year, right?
Right.
Dalton Kincaid is bigger and has less questions than all of those guys. Jordan Addison might be the most complete receiver as far as he could do a whole bunch of different things and is not limited to one thing. Dalton Kincaid is the most dynamic of all the 4 men I just named. And you got him after everybody else. And you're not even going to have to pay him like a wide receiver. You get to pay him like a tight end, even though he's a wide receiver.
Dawson Knox got $14 million, so by the time his contract up, it's going to check out probably right, if not more. Dawson Knox not even the highest paid tight end.
No.
But
at least you don't got to pay him Stephon Diggs numbers if he should be our number 2 receiver.
Yeah, you still gonna have to pay him.
Not nearly as much.
You're gonna have to pay him in 4 years. You know what?
I know you're right. But if you take a look at the wide receiver market in 4 years, it's gonna be even crazy.
Oh, yeah, it's gonna be 30-35 million.
Yeah, exactly.
For a wide receiver. So yeah, you do have a valid point. That knock off a good 10 million at least. I don't know. Tight end, it's gonna be $20 million tight end soon. But
no, for sure.
When Kincaid come out, it's gonna be 20 million.
Darren Waller is the highest paid tight end in the league right now. If he was wide receiver, he'd be the 19th highest paid wide receiver.
Well, he's getting 17, right? Something like that. Right?
I don't know off the top of my head how much he's getting.
Yeah, but okay, let's move on to the guy who just really fell in the Bills' lap at 59, Osiris Torrance. 6'5", 330 pounds, man. Still in the second round. I'm just going to go again. This is why everybody call him Big Baller Bean and all that, but I call him the burglar because he be stealing every single round. He stole Kincaid in the first, and he stole Osiris Torrance in the second at pick 59. You get a bona fide consensus All-American at guard, and you get him at pick 59 when he had a first-round grade on him. According to, half the mock drafts out there, he carried the late first-round grade. So the Bills to get him in late second round, we call that a steal. Jared, what is your thoughts on the Osiris Torrance pick?
Oh, yeah, the Torrance pick was my favorite pick of the draft. One of the things that, that I felt like we needed was that we needed some more interior help. Now, we got a lot of guards up for agency, but those are kind of more, I don't like Drew. I like to call them, those are band-aid type players. Those are players that can fill in the holes, but they're not, for the next 2-3 years, they're not going to, they might not even be there, who knows? So, Torrance is a guy that can be there, that could be really a guard for the team, especially if you can utilize him right. He could be a guard for the next decade. And potentially a cornerstone of this team. I'm a big fan of Torrance. I love his physicality. I love the fact that he's just a big anchor, and again, the dude is a bully. Once he puts hands on you, for the most part, you're either going nowhere or he's putting you right on your tube. So I like Torrance. Again, I like his physicality. I like his drive. I love his intensity. I think for the most part, I think what's really underrated about him is it's really how strong his hands are. When you watch the Florida Georgia game, I think that's just a perfect example. Yeah. And when you look at how Jalen Carter was getting matched up with him, Jalen Carter beat him on some reps, right? I'm not going to say that Torrance was invincible, but Jalen Carter, one thing that makes him so special is really his utilization of his hands. And when Jalen Carter when his first move didn't work against him, he tried to go to his second and the third, and literally trying to use every single move he could against them. And Torrance, for the most part, it's just how strong his hand placement was. I mean, that is something to definitely get excited about. And again, when you line him up off the other side to the other guard position, I mean, it was literally Jalen Carter just a feast. So, Torrance is going to be an exciting piece. Very similar to TK. I think the only question is how you're going to really utilize him as far as team fit, because Buffalo doesn't really run that much of a power zone scheme. That's what Torrance pretty much ran at Florida, right? You're not going to pull him a lot. You don't want to really use him as far as lateral movement, lateral movement goes. He is strictly just. I mean, he's a bullfrog. So, Torrance, he's a monster. He's a beast. And again, we can utilize him right, and again, we could, get him in the phase of this scheme and make it work with him. I think Torrance could be literally a cornerstone piece of the team for the next decade.
No doubt, Jared. Torch, your thoughts on Osiris pick?
Definitely a really good pick, which also had me thinking that you know what, the Bills might be leaning towards getting to the run this season. The run game, that I really thought that the first two picks was going to be run game oriented. Again, Kincaid does what he does. I just wanted to know how much space he creates. But the Osiris Torrance pick, phenomenal pick. I mean, he was number one in production score in the combine. So you gotta respect that. And another steal, like you mentioned, definitely another steal. Great steal, can block. He's played in a culture that has played great competition. So I can appreciate the pick at 59 with the Buffalo Bills getting him. And hopefully he'll help out the run game a whole lot more, especially if you want that bully bat, smash mouth football that we all been looking forward to. Hopefully he's the guy.
No doubt. I mean, I want to see now the matchup with Quinnen Williams. I know that, he's going to see Jalen Carter. We play the Eagles on the schedule too, but that's the matchup I want to see. Now, if he can hold up to Quinnen Williams, then we all know that's one of the reasons probably why the Bills went and got a guy like that.
I think everything Jerry said was absolutely right. As far as Osiris Torrance, my favorite thing about him is how strong and how good he is with his hands. Because, again, you look at a guy like Jalen Carter, his biggest asset is his hands. He's a lot like Eric Donald in that way, where he knows how to use them proficiently to the point where he's going to get to the quarterback. And although Jalen Carter did win, I'd say he won a few, like 4 or 5 maybe reps from what I saw. He only played 19 snaps, if I'm not mistaken. But even in those reps, one play he blew up the run play, and then the other 3 were pass plays or zone run plays where he didn't really have too much of an impact on the play. So even, in those situations, he was still able to give his quarterback enough time to be able to, make something happen. And I think that Quinnen Williams is not as good with his hands as Jalen Carter is. I think Quinnen Williams depends a little bit more on strength than Jalen Carter does. And you're not going to be able to overpower Osiris Torrance as easily as you may think you are. It's going to be a wash if nothing else. He's not going to be overpowered, right? He had 47 starts his whole college career. That is 1,427 pass blocking snaps, 0 sacks allowed in all 4 seasons, 0 penalties allowed last year, 21 pressures all 4 seasons for a 1.5% pressure rate, right? He started out in Louisiana. Right, and it was like, all right, let's see if you can do it in the SEC. Done.
Consensus.
And he excels in the pass and run. Like Jared said, he's more of a power runner. But when you look at guys like Latavius Murray coming in, you look at guys like David Harris coming in, you look at a James Cook who can also get up in the handicap a little bit. And I mean, of course, he can also go counter for James Cook because you want to get him in space, but he can also, bang it up the whole end. Osiris Torrance is going to be a huge part of that. I expect him to be a starter from day one. He needs to be solidified 1/5 of our line. One thing that I love that Osiris Torrance was saying, he was like, right guard, left guard, center, tackle. I don't care what they want me to do. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to do whatever I need to do to get on the field.
Right.
What from 6'7", 330, and that teachable, that coachable. You know, he's able to put himself aside and do what he feels is best for the team. Are you kidding me? That's ridiculous. And he also said another thing that I absolutely love the confidence. He was talking about, hey, you're going to have to get past me and then get to Josh Allen. And neither of those are easy tasks. So that just oozes confidence to me. And I can't wait to see him work.
We want to see, because this offensive line is super duper stacked. We got like what, 12 linemen, something like that. That's probably like the deepest position group there is on the roster. Good. And wide receiver is probably next, but this O-line is definitely going to be a position battle to watch for. And because you got Bates, who's already starting at right guard. You got Spencer Brown, who, had a sophomore slump. So where did this guy play? You play Connor Montgomery $8 million a year, to come play left guard. So somebody, this kid has to play.
Yeah,
can't just be on the side.
He's going to be 150.
He has to play. So that's going to be the real interesting thing about that. So moving on to our third pick. Pick 91 in third round goes to Dorian Williams, linebacker from out of Tulane. Jarek, again, your go. What is your thoughts on that pick?
This is kind of one of the more, I guess, confusing picks, I think, initially, because it felt like a Terrell Bernard pick. But, one thing I really like about Dorian Williams when, taking a look at him is his special teams production. I love this kid when it comes to special teams, and I think that actually might have been a big reason why we drafted him, was because maybe we know that he's not initially going to start in his first year, maybe two, but he's going to be an impact contributor right away in special teams, and he's been a veteran of that for 4 years. So, if I had to give it a grade, I probably would give this one a C+, because I do see value. I do see some valuable playing time. Just I don't think he's going to be starting. I think one of the biggest questions is, based off of the height and based off of the size, again, is he going to be playing more of that Matt Milano role, or is he going to be moving into Mike with competing with Dotson and Spector? That is something that I'm just, again, even though we've heard something different, you just never know. He could potentially grow some weight, potentially get stronger. And if he's willing to challenge that role and say, hey, listen, I don't mind playing this particular role at all. Maybe this is something that he can do. Because we've seen linebackers do before. We've seen it. Patrick Queen was one of those dudes that, kind of has that kind of do before. Roquan Smith is now kind of playing that role with the Baltimore Ravens now a little bit there. So we've seen players kind of grow into playing the mic role. I'm just interested of what happens with him. But, overall his resume, though, man, the dude is, he is going to be a fan favorite for a lot of people to watch. You're just going to watch his tape. If you want to try to buy into him, again, his size, his frame, especially if he's going to be playing that off-ball weak side linebacker role. He has the athletic ability. He has the strength. He's got the arm length for sure. 33.5-inch arms, insane. And then again, his movement skills and overall his college production. He's a tackling machine. You watch that USC game. That's going to be one of those games where he's literally flying over the field as a sideline player. I love his coverage ability and his willingness to really go to cover whether it's man coverage or zone coverage. How he can go underneath some slot receivers and how he's willing to challenge tight ends in certain areas. Again, some concerns probably again sometimes sometimes could be his ability to take on and deconstruct the blocks. So again, when you watch the Kansas State game, he kind of struggled when he was trying to scrape at times getting off of blockers. That's kind of happened in a few games sometimes. I think another thing is sometimes contact balance and kind of his modest read and react skills, how he can bite on certain reads. So, but overall wise, everything else from his combine to his tape, it matches. It literally matches. That's kind of rare because sometimes you have these combine animals and the tape doesn't match. Everything has kind of matched for this guy at all, and I think the Bills did a really good job as far as evaluating the player. It's just again from as far as how does he fit on the defense, which position is he going to be playing, and again we all know he could be a special teams contributor. Is he going to be someone that can build in about a year or two to start, or is he just going to be a pure special teams player, just a backup role?
Yeah, I mean, right now it's just like me and Justin was talking about yesterday. It's just in case Matt Milano gets hurt. Just in case, just in case in the next couple of years Matt Milano, declines or whatever, you have a serviceable guy that can step right in. And it's more or less that he will play the Matt Milano role, and then maybe on third down he can play in the middle as a cover guy. That's more or less on him playing any type of Mike right now coming in. It will only be in the passing situation. It won't be, to try to stop him run. I don't think he's ready, for that action just yet. So special teams, the backup role right now for him, and we'll see. We see competition can prove me wrong, but right now that's what they got projected for him. So, gentlemen, what are your thoughts quickly on Dorian Williams?
Man, I was about as confused as this pick as I was Dylan Brooks over here trying to talk crap about another great in a playoff game and then taking an L. I'm like, what was the game plan, first and foremost? Secondly, what is this Jaheim just in case stuff that you talking about? Just in case I don't make it home tonight because I got injured. Come on, man. Where is the replacement for Tremaine Edmonds? Can you please tell me where
He went 18th overall to Detroit.
They better find somebody.
The draft wasn't that deep, and a guy with that stature, they better go and get Rashaan Evans.
So then here's where my question comes into play, because I'm thinking that they're gonna replace this guy. They're gonna find somebody who's gonna
really want nobody
try to replace him. So this is why I come back from being on hiatus, and they paid the ransom to ask you what is the game plan to this, because I know 6'1", 230 was not the answer. I'm like, what? From Tulane.
I'll challenge you on that. Let's say the Bills signed Levante David to be the middle linebacker. Would you have been mad?
No.
If the Bills signed Bobby Wagner to be a middle linebacker, would you have been mad?
No. And you gonna say they all 6'1", 230? Mm-hmm, go ahead.
If the Bills would have found some wicked way to trade for Roquan Smith, would you have been mad?
No.
All right. Well, Devontae David is 6 feet, 233.
I guess.
Bobby Wagner is 6 feet,
I knew that was coming.
241. Roquan Smith is 6'1", 236, or at least coming out of college. He was 6'1", 236, 32-inch arms, 10-inch hands. Dorian Williams is 6'1", 228, 33 3/4 arms, and 10 1/4 hands. So hold on.
You ready for this?
Hold on, real quick. The Dolphins just drafted a kid by the name of Devin A-Chain. 4.32 speed at the running back position. That's Tyreek Hill. That's Jalen Waddle. That's this new dude. That's Raheem Mostert. That is speed everywhere, all over the place. A guy like this, Dorian Williams coming in, and he can be small to you if you think so, but he could come in and theoretically play the Mike. And he has 4.49 speed, so he has the speed to be able to get all over the place. He has the twitchiness to be able to read and react. I promise you, being in the locker room with Sean McDermott, who, for everything people say about him, is an amazing defensive coach, right? He's going to be able to teach him to read and react better, how to read the offenses better. I promise you, this will not be just we'll see what happens. I don't know exactly how they want to use him, but I feel like he could come in and play middle linebacker snaps and eventually be our middle linebacker. And by the way, people call me a homer because I gave this draft pick, this draft class, A plus. PFF also gave it an A. So
well,
it don't matter.
It don't matter. It's warranted. They had a great draft.
Can I say that I appreciated the linguistic skills that you just put on this radio station? We've given me the linguistic skills that you gave me. With the developmental speech that you just gave me on this guy. The developmental speech. My guy, my whole entire argument tonight has been Super Bowl. You want the Super Bowl. I want somebody who's already done it.
I'm not mad at that.
Versus the development, because I feel like at some point, I don't know, Jerry, I know you on the line listening.
the development takes time, man, and I feel like the Bills ain't got all this time to be trying to get a Super Bowl. So we need somebody proven in there to do it. And I get you.
I tell you what, you are absolutely right in wanting that, and having you. So you're not going to be able to have a blue chip player at every single position, right? So chances are they're probably going to sign some veteran linebackers, and we're probably going to make that happen. But adding Osiris Torrance, adding a Nick Broker, adding a Justin Shorter, adding a Dalton Kincaid, where you are adding firepower.
I'm not saying they bad guys. Don't get me
no. It's not about that though. It's about surrounding Josh Allen with the requisite tools to be able to help him be more successful, right? So if you have a unicorn quarterback with a unicorn type-ish offense where they can be prolific in terms of production, then your defense don't need to be as good, and you can hide some things.
Defense better be good. Ain't no defense ain't gotta be as good. They better be good.
They don't have any top two defense.
Yeah, they better be good. So let's hear from Dorian Williams himself. All right, let's cut into that clip. How about that?
What were the conversations like in reference to what your role would be?
He'd say, Mike will. Learn those positions be, major this year, especially, with Matt. He's an amazing linebacker, so learn from him, learn his study habits, that'd be major for everybody in our room, including me. Yes, I play a lot of will. On third down, I would move around, be on the line, Coach Hamilton kind of showed my versatility kind of in that sort of package. So that was amazing. The Matt was good.
So there it is. That's Dorian Williams on what his role is going to be. Mike Will, we kind of pretty much knew that. Again, Matt Milano at will, and then third down, maybe he'll play in the inside. But right now, it's still a developmental project. Look at the third round. I don't know who was still on the board that they could have selected. Jordan Battle,
Trent Simpson was there.
No, he was gone.
It was one of them linebackers.
He was gone. Noah Sewell was the only one that was there. Yeah, that was it. So
Jordan Battle was the one I was thinking.
I don't think Jordan Battle was gone.
And the third round he was there because I wanted them to get him.
He was gone. He was gone with the Bills pick. He wasn't there in 91. I don't think Jordan Battle was there in 91. And then, they didn't take a safety because, you got two All-Pros back there on top of Taylor Rapp. So you drafted a safety to do what right now at this point this year? So, I'm not mad at that pick. That's a developmental pick, and they had to go defense if anything. They went offense with the first two position groups. They was going defense with that third round pick. So wasn't mad at the pick. You get a 4-year guy, you get a captain, you get a guy who took a program to Atlanta, was at the bottom and took him all the way to the top. He balled out at USC, was Defensive Player of the Year in the Cotton Bowl. Just about made every tackle. All right, just kind of like remind you of Bernard in his last bowl game, making 20 tackles and whatnot. But that's too far for me.
He went 95.
You went 95? Well, that just let you know how they value them on the board. That was probably the only one. That I would think of. Between Battle and the linebacker, but you need a linebacker. I don't know. Balin Spector's in the middle. AJ Klein is in the middle. Tyrell Dodson is in the middle. Oh my goodness. So to me, guys, it's still a hole that hasn't been filled in the middle. It's a big void. And again, it goes back to the question of not prioritizing correctly. You rather extend Dawson Knox than rather extend Tremaine Edmonds. Now imagine if you had Tremaine Edmonds and Dawson Knox again for another year with the picks that they've chosen this year.
Really perfect.
It's a different dynamic. So speaking of that dynamic, this next pick, I was not mad at all. Justin Shorter, 6'4", 6'5", 230 pounds, a poor man's DK Metcalf, right? Physical, aggressive blocker, could big catch radius. This another just in case pick, just in case we don't feel like, you kind of gay or, whatever the case may be. Another, just finally that we got a big target. I don't know if they, this is a rebound of losing Isaiah Hodgins, but, different body types. So, gentlemen, what was your thoughts? Jared, what was your thoughts on this pick, and let's make it quick because we got good 5 minutes left here, so we gotta get our points.
They let you know that they were going to go all in when it comes to providing Josh Allen with weapons. For the most part, especially at the fifth round, he's definitely more an athletic upside type of guy. He's just he's more of a big body possession receiver. I like this man because he can consistently win the contested catches, and again, I think as a red zone threat, his ability to his start and his start and quick release when it comes to route running is really, really good. You're gonna love him in a lot of short intermediate situations. There's some questions about sometimes the ability to separate and sometimes route running a little bit, but nothing too bad, nothing too gruesome about it. Like I said, not the worst in the world, not anything that's gonna take the top off you, but for the most part, Justin Short is a really, really good receiver that has a lot of promise. Right, he has a lot of promise. Again, 6'4", 230 pounds. You love his hands. Definitely has the athletic upside, the physical intangibles. Just about putting the game all together. So, especially with this offense under Josh Allen, with Dorsey hopefully leading the way. We'll see what happens when it comes in. But overall, I like the pick.
Yeah, no doubt. I like the pick. I couldn't be mad once I heard the measurables. I'm like, okay, finally, no more Smurfs. And we got Justin Short. So let's go to the clip with Justin, being picked up by the Bills.
Justin Short, thanks for Sports 1080, man. Good, man. How about you? Okay, great. So just start this new process. So what was it like when you finally got the call? Man, it was crazy. I feel like draft day is just insane because you're sitting around basically waiting the whole time. But I literally watched every single pick, so I read the play before, man. I feel like I was just fueling my fire up. And finally, I put my phone down, got that phone call, and I was just super excited, man. Just started screaming, just thanking God. Absolutely, man. And as a football player, what are some of the things you pride yourself on? I definitely say mental toughness is a big thing for me. Let's say just from my past getting injured my freshman year, I feel like that really taught me how to work through things to be mentally tough. And I definitely say just my aggressive play style also plays a very, very big part in my game, especially as a wide receiver. And you got drafted in the fifth round, another wide receiver in the building by Stephon Diggs got drafted in the fifth round. He continues to play with a chip on his shoulder. And I'm excited at you to learn from that guy, and how big is the chip on your shoulder at this point? Man, super excited. I feel like I just want to go there and just go in there quiet and just be a sponge and just go to him and be like, hey, like whatever just teach me, because he's been doing it for a long time. He's has a lot of experience, so just being able just to learn from guys like that, and that ring is definitely going to be a huge advantage for me. Congratulations, man. Thank you, Buffalo. Appreciate that. Thank you.
This guy, the nerve of this guy, right? This guy, who wants to go flag on a play with this guy? But hey, there it is. That was, Justin Shorter, talking about, having that chip on his shoulder. Now, this guy was the number one wide receiver coming out of high school in the country over Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Amon-Ra St. Brown, you name it. This guy was it. Went to Penn State, ended up transferring over to Florida. Again, I like the measurables. I like the size. Another guy that, Bills are saying special teams or whatever the case. But, they addressed everybody cried for the most part. Everybody wanted a lineman. They went out and got two of them. Everybody wanted to get a wide receiver. They got a wide receiver. Yeah, they even got a damn tight end with the first pick. And they even got a linebacker. It wasn't the linebacker that we all, I guess, from a measurables perspective, but they end up getting a linebacker. But they top off the draft. Wake up this morning and the Bills sign Latavius Murray, 6'3", 230 pounds, running back, big back, power back with some speed. Jared, what was your thoughts on that selection? You have 30 seconds.
He's going to be a good depth piece. He's an all-around back. He can catch the ball in the backfield. He can block. And just overall, he has the overall strength to run through defenders. Just overall, I think they're a decent sign that can come in there and definitely compete in training camp.
George, you have 30 seconds.
Great pick. High on the rock.
It just
keeps on the trend of smash mouth football, punch you in the face, we coming at you, as with a lot of the draft picks did, and I'm all for it. You tired of your quarterback's wife and little brother all on the TikTok videos and whatnot? Come to Buffalo. All right.
Here is Latavius Murray and on being a Buffalo Bill. You got more flags, man? We got to bring the backup quarterback in here.
Hey man, 6'3", 230 pounds, man. Where do you see your game being the best asset in this offense? Yeah, I just think we're all different running backs within that room. So I think it starts there, just bringing a different element to the backfield, to the running back room. You got James, you got Naheem, you got Damian. Really all different in size. So, I just think there's some versatility that I do have, even with being bigger. But what stands out first and foremost is that my size and my speed at that size. And so, hopefully, I think this offense has been great at finding ways to put players in positions, players to do things that they do well. And so I look forward to exploring that and learning the offense and fitting in. No doubt, speaking of fitting in, you fit in with this guy once again, the union with Stephon Diggs. So what it would be like to be in the same uniform with that guy again? It's going to be great. Our time together in Minnesota was great. We were a game away from getting to the Super Bowl. Losing to Philly in the NFC Championship. So it was a great team, competitive. A lot of similarity, great locker room, great organization. So we want to go after that ring again together. And he's always been a friend of mine. A lot of respect for him, a lot of respect for what he does on the field. But a competitor, and I respect that the most. And so I look forward to chasing him again.
There it is. That was your boy Latavius Murray. Talking about being here in Buffalo, what he brings to the table in this offense. And I tell you this, teams, you cannot play 7 men. You can't play cover 2 shell anymore. And Latavius Murray is out there because now, if you dropping 7 guys back, we have a light box with Latavius Murray out there. Just hand the ball off to the guy. Just hand the ball off to him. You're going to drop 7 back in coverage now. Now you got to deal with a guy that's 6'3", 230 pounds, running 4.4, 4.5 still. So good pickup by the Bills. Stay tuned. It is not over. The Bills are still roster building. On behalf of my guy Jarrett, on behalf of DJ Ready Rob, the Torch, and the General, I'm Muki Hawkins. Stay safe, choose love, not hate. And you know what I mean, man. Wash them damn hands, okay?
Did you know that you could win up to $500 in cash and get your music heard on the air in the Black Music Month New Artist Contest this June? Register as a vocalist or as a band. Auditions begin May 9th at Pilgrim Baptist Church. Registration opens April 20th.
I want to put this out there right now. I want to put this little announcement, public service announcement right now. I know we talked about the draft, but it is, and the disclaimer, let the disclaimer go, because I know people watching, the fan base is watching. Oh, wait, you got your own. Yeah, I got the camera right here. The fan base is watching, folks. But right here, my brother right here, he know what time of the season it is. It is disrespectful basketball NBA season time, okay? It is LeBron James versus Steph Curry time, okay? I just want to put this out there right now for you, okay? You can go tell your little million looking friends over here in LA, all looking like what the millions running around. The millions running around. That this ain't, listen, Dylan Brooks ain't on this team. Just get Dylan Brooks and all that chatter that you got that here earlier. This ain't the Dylan Brooks show. This is the Golden State Warriors. I hope y'all ready, because this series right here has hella implications.
Which player on this roster? Which player on this roster is better than John Moran?
Hella implications.
Which player on this roster is better than John Moran?
On the what? It don't matter.
You said Dylan Brooks like that means something.
No. I'm saying Dylan Brooks because he was running his trap. Don't expect none of that. No. See, I need to.
Why the last time Warriors challenged him though? Why the last time?
The last time they challenged the last time they challenged them.
What happened the last time Klay Thompson?
Well, you know what? I remember. I remember a certain Curry being 15-7 against the GOAT. I remember a certain Curry, okay, winning 4 series against your GOAT. By the way, I hope
they not winning.
Who not winning the series?
Golden State.
Oh my God. Mookie, you want to do this again? You want to try it again? Mookie, you didn't learn from last year?
Nothing you says hasn't. They won't challenge LeBron because they did that already. And they found out what happens when you challenge LeBron.
Hold on. I'm telling you that all them antics, we ain't gonna have none of these antics. We ain't gonna have the jar back and forth.
The last time they did, LeBron smacked them 3 games in a row.
Oh, they smacked them 3 games in a row.
3-1 comeback. They had the chip in their pocket and won it.
And then he been smacked every since.
They fumbled it.
And he been smacked every since. It ain't gonna matter. Listen, I'm just gonna tell you right now, it ain't gonna matter. They not doing none of that stuff. Just expect.
No, because they learned their lesson.
No. It ain't Golden State learned their lesson.
They did.
No. Golden State, they had to learn their lesson. They own LeBron. They own him. Only just because he won that 1 championship, they will own LeBron. They own him. You can say that all you want. Go ahead. You can go get Professor Boone.
You lying right now.
No. You don't believe. Go get Professor Boone. You go get him.
You talking for content.
Nah, I ain't talking for content. I don't need that. No, I don't need content. No. I don't need content. I'm making context. I'm giving you context right now. Context. Okay?
Your boy already owned his pizza. So what you want to put a pizza on?
You want to put a pizza on it? All right, come on. You see the shape. Everybody see this.
Hold on.
Everybody see the
Warriors and I'm saying the Lakers.
All right, there you go. You got it?
We eating good. I'm eating good.
I feel for it. I feel for you. I'm going to just tell you, this series has all the implications.
They don't even do nothing no more. What is it, year 20, y'all? That stuff is crazy.
It's year 20. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's gravy. You just get the number 2 seed.
I just want to put this out there. I just want to put this out there. Stephen Curry came in the league 6 years later. Right? And has just as many as your boy LeBron that you hang on, right? This series right here, whoever win this series, I just look at this right now. You get him and I mean, they should get you closer.
Whoever win the series, what?
Going to the NBA finals.
Over Denver?
No, he didn't just say the struggle nuggets. Like them bums don't cough up. Like them bums don't cough it up worse than the Phoenix Suns.
I mean, we'll see. But I don't know if either of them teams is prepared to deal with Denver. Either the Lakers or the Warriors.
Oh my goodness.
We'll see though.
Lord have mercy.
This is a doable thing. This is doable. Lakers get past Golden State. Denver can go the fuck down.
They surely can, and I don't even like the Lakers like that.
Make this fight.